Good morning, children. Today we are going to study the poem The Mirror by Sylvia Plath. The poem is written in a kind of monologue where the central character, protagonist, is mirror only. The mirror is narrating the mental pain, the agony, the suffering of a woman who comes to weave her image there in the mirror. Children will look our face in the mirror when we find it according to our own wishes, according to our own dream, according to the way we want it, we feel happy whenever we look our face in the mirror. But as people start growing old, and whenever they look the wrinkled face there, whenever they look the fast growing old face there, they don't feel happy about it. Though the laws of nature cannot be escaped, life, birth, growth, decay. This is the cycle of life. This is the law of nature. Nobody can escape from it. But when the people don't align their thinking, they don't put their thinking in sync with the laws of nature, they suffer unavoidable pains in their life. The mirror here is narrating the pain of a woman who is growing old and comes to see her face in the mirror. Instead of complaining, instead of being unable, instead of putting herself in adjustment with the laws of nature, instead of putting her thinking in sync with the laws of nature, the lady is complaining to the mirror and is calling her as being cruel instead of being truthful. So let's see how the mirror is narrating its experience when the lady is looking her face there in the mirror. I will first read out the poem to you, then I will start interpreting the poem. The poem is Mirror by Sylvia Plath, and the poem reads like, I am silver and exact, I have no preconceptions. Whatever I see, I swallow immediately, just as it is, unmisted by love or dislike. I am not cruel, only truthful, the eye of a little god, four-cornered. Most of the time, meditate on the opposite wall. It's pink with speckles. I have looked at it so long, I think it has become the part of my heart. But it flickers, faces and darkness separate us over and over. Now on a lake, a woman bends over me, searching my reaches for what she really is. Then she turns to those liars, the candles or the moon. I see her back and reflect it faithfully. She rewards me with the tears and an hesitation of hands. I am important to her. She comes and goes. Each morning, it is her face that replaces the darkness. In me she has drowned a young girl, and in me an old woman rises towards her day after day like a terrible fish. The mirror is saying, I am silver and exact. First thing, the mirror is an inanimate object, a non-living being. And when a non-living being speaks like a living being or narrates experiences which matches with the living beings, the literary device used there is said to be personification. Personification where we personify inanimate object, non-living beings, and they start behaving just like human beings or living beings. So here the mirror is speaking. The mirror is dead, non-living object, it cannot speak, but it is speaking. Thus, the literary device in the first line is personification, and the mirror is saying, I am silver and exact. It means the mirror is describing its color as silver in the sense that the one part of the mirror, one side of the mirror, is having silvery electroplated layer that reflects the image. So the mirror is saying, I am silver and exact in the sense that everything that mirror reflects, it doesn't distort the image of anything. It is very accurate. As the object is looking, so does mirror reflect it back. Mirror doesn't bring any change in the image of the object. And the next thing that mirror is saying, I have no preconceptions. Generally, it has been noticed that when human beings give their decision about others, or whenever human beings become judgmental, their judgment or their decision or their opinion is influenced by their preconceived opinions. If they have positive preconceived opinion, they give positive judgment about the thing. When they have negatively preconceived opinions, they give negative opinion. But the mirror is saying I'm absolutely free. My opinion about an object is absolutely fresh. As the object is, so does I reflect it back. I don't bring any change in the object. I don't have any preconceptions. So mirror's opinion about an object is fresh, objective and original. It is not influenced by any kind of preconceptions. Whatever I see, I swallow immediately. In the next line, it is saying, whatever image comes before me, I take it inside, then I reflect it back. Actually, the mirror cannot swallow anything, just like human beings do swallow the medicines and pills. But swallow here, it refers to absorbing anything, then reflecting back. So mirror is reflecting back the image of everything that comes before it, just as it is. Just as it is means without bringing any change there, without distorting. The mirror neither overstates something nor understates. The mirror neither beautifies anything nor makes anything ugly. The mirror only shows the object as it is without imposing its own opinion there. Unmisted by love or dislike. And generally human beings, again when they give their decisions are influenced by the feeling of like and dislike. And the mirror is saying, my decisions, my reflection of an image of an object or of an individual is not influenced by my feeling of like or dislike. You must have seen in day-to-day life that when someone likes you, he is always giving you positive comments or compliments. When someone doesn't like you, he doesn't hold very positive opinion about you. But the mirror is saying, I'm not like human beings whose decisions or opinions are influenced by the feeling of like and dislike. I am not guided by that. My opinion about an object, my reflection of an object is objective. It is free from all personal opinions of like and dislike. I am not cruel, only truthful. But because most of the time I reflect the things as they are, because most of the time I reflect the individuals as they are, therefore many a time people mistake me for being cruel. Though the mirror is saying I am only truthful. I truthfully reflect back the images of the objects as they are. But because at times the images reflected by me are not liked by the people, they think I am being cruel. But the mirror is here explaining its stand, explaining that people shouldn't take me for being cruel. Only I am truthful and I reflect back the images as they are. The eye of a little god, four-cornered, most of the time meditate on the opposite wall. In the next line, the eye of a little god, the mirror is comparing itself with the eye of a god. Though the eye of a little god, little word is misplaced here, we can call it the literary device transferred epithet. Actually, the god is not little, but the eyes of god are said to be little because because the god is looking at human beings from different angles, but human beings cannot perceive or look from where the god is looking at them and is observing their behavior. Therefore the eyes of human beings are therefore the eyes of god are said to be very little one. So the mirror looks at each and every object from different angles, just like the eye of a god, which is omnipresent, which is everywhere. Though the mirror, by speaking this, has elevated its standard to a divine being, though the mirror is not something like God, but the mirror has the poet has added an element of mysticism over here by elevating the standard of mirror to the level of God. And the mirror is saying, I look at different objects and different individuals and human beings just like the eye of a god. Four-cornered. Though the four-cornered word has been used by the poet to denote that the mirror is rectangular in shape. It's not of oval shape or of any other shape. It is rectangular in shape, but it can convey even a deeper meaning too. And that is, as God looks in all four directions, east, west, north and south, in the same way, mirror looks at human being from different angles and directions and notices their behavior, reflects them as they are. Most of the time meditate on the opposite wall. The mirror is saying, when somebody is not standing between me and the wall, I am reflecting most of the time the image of opposite wall. For example, right now, if I hang a mirror over here, then when somebody is not standing here, it will reflect the image of the opposite wall. And when somebody will come to look its face there in the mirror, look his face there in the mirror, then obviously the image or the reflection of the opposite wall will be blocked, and the mirror will be able to reflect the image of only human being or of an object. Otherwise, the moment an object goes away from there, the moment an individual goes from there, again the mirror is reflecting the image of opposite wall, and the mirror is saying it is pink with speckles. The color of the wall is pink, and it has got discolored over the time, over the period of time, and it is having some patches. Next line, mirror is saying, I have looked at it so long, I think it's a part of my heart. The mirror is saying, I have been looking at the opposite wall for such a long time, and I have been reflecting its image for such a long time, that it seems that it has become the part and parcel of my existence. It has become the integral part of my existence. It has become the part of my heart. Because most of the time, the image of wall can be seen in the mirror. The image of wall is inside the mirror. Therefore, mirror is saying, I have become, this opposite wall has become almost the part of my existence. It has become the part and parcel of my being. It has become the part and parcel of my consciousness. But it flickers. Faces and darkness separate us over and over. The mirror is saying there are only two situations when the opposite wall is not reflected in my being, when I am unable to reflect the image of opposite wall. And what are those two situations? When human beings come, they stand between me and my wall, then I fail to reflect the image of this wall. And at times when there is darkness, because the mirror needs light to reflect an image back. Therefore, when there is darkness, when there are human beings blocking the image of opposite wall, only then the mirror is not able to reflect it back. Otherwise, most of the time, the mirror is reflecting the image of opposite wall. Children, is this much clear to you? If you have any doubt, you can clarify it right now. I can briefly summarize it once more to you, that in the first stanza, mirror is telling that it is very silver and exact. It has no any preconceptions, means its decisions are not influenced by any preconceived opinion. It reflects the image of everything as they are, but people generally mistake mirror for being cruel, though mirror is not cruel, only truthful. At times, truthful people are taken to be insensitive and cruel, but they are guided by their nature. They speak what they perceive to be true. So they are not hurting, they are not insensitive, they are not cruel, they are simply being truthful only. And then the mirror is telling about the wall that is opposite to it and how it is reflecting it most of the time, and only in two situations, where the human beings come or when there is darkness, it fails to reflect the image of opposite wall. In the third stanza, the mirror metaphorically speaks about itself as a lake. Now I am a lake. The mirror is saying, now I am a lake. If the mirror had spoken, now I am like a lake, then the literary device would have been simile. But here, the literary device is metaphor. Why? There is a slight difference between metaphor and simile. Simile is a literary device where there is comparison with the words of comparison. When you compare something with the words of comparison, as, like, so, there is simile. And when there is comparison without words of comparison, then there is metaphor. Therefore, generally the one word definition of metaphor is that it is implied simile, it is hidden simile. Because in simile we make explicit, open comparison between the two things by using the words as, like, so. For example, we say life is like a dream. So here the literary device used is simile. But when we say life is dream, then it is a metaphor. Why? Here again we have made a comparison, but without using the words of comparison. Therefore, metaphor is hidden simile. And in this line, mirror is saying, now I am a lake. Means mirror is like a lake. That is metaphorically spoken. A woman bends over me. As there is one similarity actually between a mirror and lake, as mirror can reflect the image of any object or individual. In the same way, even the placid water of lake can reflect back the image of any object or individual. Therefore, even human beings too can, in absence of mirror, can see their faces and get image of their faces even in the placid or silent water of a lake or of a pond. A woman bends over me, searching my riches for what she really is. The mirror is saying a woman comes to me and she bends over me, looking for what she has been. What searching my riches means searching my depth for what she really is means. What she is means she is confused. Is it me whose image is being reflected here? Because in the woman had been looking her face in the mirror for a very very long time. Since she had been a very young and beautiful woman, now she is gradually losing that beauty, and therefore she is not able to believe what is happening to her, how she is rapidly changing, and she is not able to compromise with the idea, adjust with this idea that she is growing old. Therefore, when she is looking her face there in the mirror or in the lake, she is asking, is it me who is there? Perhaps it's not me, because I have been a very beautiful woman, and how I can grow old. Therefore, searching my riches means searching in my depth for what she really is. Then she turned to those liars, the candles or the moon. I see her back and I reflect it faithfully. Then when the lady feels a lot of pain, when the lady is not able to accept the idea that she is growing old, then she looks her face in the dim light of candle or moon. And when she looks her face in the mirror in the dim light of candle or moon, what happens that the wrinkles, the signs of fast approaching old age, are not reflected in the image of a mirror, and she feels perhaps she is still beautiful, but that's not there. The lady is, she turns to those liars, the candles or the moon. I see her back and reflect it faithfully, and when she is about to leave that place, the mirror again reflects the image of the back of the lady, or reflect the back of the woman. I see her back and reflect it faithfully. She rewards me with the tears and hesitation of hand. Generally, we give good gifts to the people, but the lady, when she comes to look her face there in the mirror, she feels so upset that she is gifting tears to the old lady. She is giving, she is responding it back with the hesitation of hand. Here, the hesitation or twisting of hands refers to the feeling of helplessness, feeling of pain that the lady is undergoing when she is looking her image there in the mirror and is feeling that she is growing very old. I am important to her. The mirror is very very important to the lady in the sense that every morning she is the first one to reach the mirror. She comes and goes. Each morning it is her face that replaces the darkness. The moment the light is there in the morning, the woman is first one to approach there. So mirrors become very very important in the life of mirror. In me, she has drowned a young girl. The woman had been looking her face there in the mirror for a very very long time. She has lost her youth there, looking her face there in the mirror. And in me, an old woman rises towards her day after day like a terrible fish. When any object goes inside the water, maybe something is coming out of that because of the buoyant force of the water. The lady has drowned her youth there, and what is coming out of that? The old lady is coming out of that. Fast approaching old age is coming out of that, just like a terrible fish, meaning the unmanageable fish, the horrible fish. The old age is fast approaching towards that, and the lady is not able to accept that. I hope, children, you have understood it. Read the poem silently, and in case you have any doubt, you can clarify it to me once more. Thank you. Have a good day.